G'day guys, welcome back. Too many projects, not enough time. I'm Andrew. Here we are in the shop with Ivy. Yes, and we're actually going to make sparks today. So, it's definitely winter. It is miserable out there, and first fall of snow at the lake, which is already melted. But either way, first fall of snow at the lake. All right. So now we're back from dropping the big Ford beast off up there for the winter. It's time to get started. And I think because I've committed now, because I have committed to this heater core, and I got a squirrel cage today, but I just need to get a motor for it. My friend Tony, who's a chicken farmer and has a ton of them on his shelf out of the barns. But I just got to get a 12 volt blower motor for it. So we'll figure that bit out later, but today we're going to this weekend, figure out how we're going to mount this in here. So I know you don't want to listen to me ramble on like the last bunch of videos, so we're going to get right into it today. We'll put this safely up and out of the way, and then we'll come on in and I'll show you where we're at of how this is going to work. Now I am looking for Series 1. Those little Series 1 demister vents that go up here. Still looking around for them. I actually picked up a couple of tubes and then squished them to look like the same profile. I've got a 1 inch and a 1.5. I think somewhere in between is going to be the winner chicken dinner. One's just a touch small, 1.5 I think is just a touch big. So maybe we'll try and get 1.25. This material is probably just a little heavy, but either way. And then we've got to figure out how to squish it and make it squish uniformly, unlike this one. Not, pardon me, quite as good as I would like, but that's all experimental. So I got to go back to the metal shop, see if we can get 1.25 round tube, and then squish some of that to see what the profile looks like. And if you guys don't know, it's kind of basically, it looks like one of these with the tube coming off the bottom corner for the air to blow up into, and then a slot in the top. So anyway, I'm looking for some of them, and also possibly making them as I go as well. I'll probably make them before I find them, but someone has them laying around. I'd love them. Just let me know what you want for them. Alright, so we'll bring it in nice and close, and we'll take a look at what's going on with my dash, because it's not a standard Series 1 dash. If you want to go, I'll put a link below to what I did overall to the dash. But as far as the heater is concerned, it's quite unique and nothing like a Series 1, which is normally just a Smith's heater mounted to the firewall. In the middle here in front of the gear shift, gauge cluster in here, and then I'm doing something a little different. I'm actually have this section of Range Rover dash, which will actually mount right there like that, basically with the vents. Put a cap on the end here. This piece here actually mounts up hard in there, and is currently welded to the center box, which, now that I've figured out my heater core, which actually is going to go in here, which comes out right here in front above the footwell. So basically that is going to mount on the other side of here, under the dash, but behind the footwell. Anyway, you'll see. But I think originally I welded this piece to the centerpiece, because it was just going to be ducting here, and the heater, all the heater and everything was going to be above the footwell. So once this was bolted in, there was no need to pull this apart again. There probably still isn't. But I think now, after looking at it, I'm actually going to zip it down here to remove this as a separate section to the gauge box in the middle, because if I have to do something heater, then this just comes out as a separate piece and I play heater without having to involve all the dash and the gauges and everything in here. So right now everything's held in by clecos. And we will so there's the center gauge mount right here, and then this across here is merely just to cover up this cavity along there. So separate this, we'll make this into a closed box either end, individually mount from the gauge pod. Better idea. Things are evolving, and then because that box basically mounts right in here, I've got these pointed the wrong way so it mounts, but that will basically mount perfectly there. Imagine these going through the firewall the other direction. So that'll mount perfectly in that cavity, and then up this way, this 2" by 3" rectangular tube going from pillar to pillar on both sides, right across the whole width of the dash, will then carry all the hot air made by the heater cooler and duct it right across the width of the firewall, coming up out of the top as a windscreen vent. And then also I've got 2 slots marked here. Can you see them in the camera? 2 slots basically where these 2 slots are. Because if this mounts here like this, just like that actually, we've got to get the air from inside this box here in and outside of these vents here. So I'll just make little oval metal tubes about 1 inch long, weld them to the inside of here. I'll cut out in this box, weld them here, then they will slide inside of here, kind of like, well, wider, but that idea. And then some foam, and then that'll all seal. When I screw and mount this on, that will seal, sending air from here out through these vents, which are closable just by flipping the little lever. Catching on? Good. Let's make some sparks. I've got a plan, I'm sticking to it. well, I think we just got to pick a motor up that's going to spin this thing fast enough to give us some pressure. I think that'll mount like that, and then we'll duct air from the footwell up into here and back into the cab, so that way we're recirculating warm air rather than cold air from out here, because I think the early, well, series 2 and 3 that had the heaters mounted here ducted out the side of the fender, sucking in cold air. But I think we're going to do recirculated air out of the footwell. That way the air can only get warmer and warmer. So, alright, time to figure out the box on the other side of there now. Alright, now I just have to put caps on the ends of this. And then this will mount basically here, creating a captured void. I'll probably fill in the chunks on the end here with some sort of rigid foam to create less volume in here to force it up. I guess the air is going to go up through holes drilled in the bottom here up into this top piece, which will then flow right across from side to side through this up into the upper vents. Alrighty guys, so there we have it. I saved you the horror of watching me basically weld on the plates on the ends of this box. So the box is mounted up in here now. It covers the heater core, and then above the heater core up in here is, I think you can just kind of see it, there are holes letting the heat rise from this captured box up into this 2x3. Now I've been through it before, I know, it's like I like to repeat things many times. And then on the forwards out here we've got a squirrel fan. Well, we will get a squirrel fan set up, blowing air through this and up and across. Now as you can see, I've got the ends welded on, and then on the top here I welded on these little 1/4" little barbs, if you want to call them, pins, locator pins, and I've drilled matchy holes up in the top which locates it all. And I also have a rubber strip on the edge. I think I picked this up on Amazon somewhere. A little rubber strip that stops the vibration noise and vibrating noise. Now I have some holes drilled in here at each end, 2 inches in from each end. And now I'm going to weld some tabs on here so that when I put this in and locate it, I can just put a couple of screws up, machine screws or screws, up through the bottom here into the tabs, which will be hidden inside of there. You won't see the screws because it'll be underneath, and then 2 screws will hold this box simply just fill with some sort of rigid foam piece to take up that volume, keeping the air pushed up to the top. Alright, let's get these tabs welded on. Alright, I think that just about does it for this video. It's the end of the weekend and time to go back to the drudgery of a Monday to Friday job. So, thanks for sticking around till the end. And at the end of this video, we're announcing a winner from the last video. Actually, last video? The last two videos, I think it is. And I'm actually going to pick a winner from the last video. Bruce Salter 3670. Get in contact, email below, and we'll get some Koala farts here. So anyway, thanks for joining to the end. I finally pulled the trigger and settled on the heater box solution, or the heater core solution. And how we're going to heat, well, hopefully the whole cab and everything with that heater core. So it may not be big enough. We'll find out. Stick around to the next episode on what we do next on Old Ivy. Thanks guys. See you next time. Oh yeah. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, this itchy eyeball.